Good morning, people. Welcome to day 3, breakfast of the day. Let's see. Day 1, we did donuts. Day 2, yesterday, we did lunch. You've had Irish whiskey for your morning. I think we are going to go scones for breakfast of the day with strawberry or marmalade preserves and some hot tea, your flavor. I prefer an Earl Grey or an English tea in the morning. And if all else fails, red rose. So we'll do that for breakfast of the day today. So we got that out of the way. Yesterday, and I kind of showed you at the close of the vlog, where we got, what we got. You know, got skins up yesterday with errands and helping a friend and everything else. We didn't get as far as we wanted, but we got the skins up in the spider display. So spider area is done, and then we get into the water room, and I showed you this yesterday. Water walls going there so they won't see that. And you know, we got the water room done, so we did make some progress. And we've got trash, lots of trash. I had to trim panels in here to get things to fit. Seems like every year I have to trim a panel or two. Morgan, my helper, will be out sometime later today to do a garbage sweep, so that'll help. Today's projects. A major one out here is I've still got 3 stacks of partition walls back there. I need to get those out of there, and we're going to do 3 different dumps or 3 different stacks of the partition walls out here, so I can start getting the walls up in this area and getting this part of the maze done. And I also am hoping to get the maze walls up in this area, which will be the gypsy display. This area through here and underneath this tent are the corn hallway and the clown hallway. But before I get to that, it's actually 5 minutes to 9, so it's 8:55 out here. Sorry, neighbor wanted to kibitz a little bit. Before we get going out front though, I need to get in here in the shop. I got started painting the black on the panels last night. Pooped out. I've still got 3 panels that need black. So we're going to finish off what we started last night, and we get those 3 panels shot with their black so they can dry today, so I can work on them tonight if I'm up to it. So we're going to get started out here and get the black shot. Okay, finished. Took 45 minutes to do that panel, and this panel. And then another 10 to 15 to clean up, so about an hour. Next chore before we get started on the partition walls, and this has to do with the partition walls, I need to move my trailer so I can get my mom's car, which you rarely see down at the end of the driveway, sitting right here where the trailer is. So I gotta play musical chairs. I need to move the car because one of the stacks of partition walls I gotta drag out goes right there in that spot. So musical chairs time, and then we start hauling partition walls. But hey, we're making progress. Okay, musical chairs completed. Now Sue's out here. She's gonna give me a hand dragging wall panels. We gotta do a stack of wall panels here, stack of wall panels there, and another stack in that garden. Get all the wall panels out. Hey, fun. Progress made. No more wall panels. And Kaylee's having a ball running up and down the side of the house trying to keep an eye on me. After we got the wall panels out, we figured it might make sense to pull some of all the fence panels out that go on to the grass area. So I've been using my map and getting out here pulling fence panels. This one here will go here for the mirror display. I've got the panels for the gypsy, which goes across the front of this garden. Jumping spider, attack spider, bouncing spider, This is going to have the crates and barrels in it. These are all the panels I'm going to need for the water room, the photo op out front, and the witch's display. Now, are these all exact? According to my map, it is, but they're going to be off, and I've got some oddballs, or I might decide I need an 8-foot, and I probably will, out on the driveway instead of in here, and I could use 2 4-foot panels instead of an 8-foot panel, or something like that. And I'll play musical chairs with them when I get to that point of putting them up and stuff. But beats doing it now beats doing it later when I'm going to have to carry them all the way around the back of the house now and then try to thread the whole maze. Having to do that for 1 or 2 panels is one thing. Having to do that with all the panels, more work than I want to put in. Now, we also got our dumps. We got 2 stacks there and a stack there. The majority of those will be going up on the driveway when we get to the driveway, probably late next week. These here, we've got to finish off our photo hall, which runs down along the fence and around that bush, and then the front of the house here for the gypsy display, and then around this bush, as well as the corn maze, the clown hall, and the witch. So we're just going to start going through those 2 stacks, starting over there, and we'll go as far as we can with them, and then I can come over and I'll borrow from these, and if I end up using those up too, I'm not worried about it, because I've got 1 more stack of them in the backyard. So I'm not running out of panels yet, but who knows. But anyway, I'm going to put this down, and I promise you, no fast forward footage of me putting up partition walls. I swear, no fast forward. But we are going to get started getting this stuff up. Well, not too bad for today. As you can see, you cannot see through to our neighbor's yard. We got the partition walls up in the photo hall, as well as the skins. And I just finished the skins. Now, normally, in all the years past, we have people funnel down through this display. We have another display in that corner. They hang a right and go into the big tents. This year we are doing something totally new. I'm funneling them into the garden and around that big bush that's back there this year. In fact, there's the big bush right there. Usually my walls stop right here. They don't see anything further back. They don't go any further back. And usually the display starts right here. So this is all display usually. This year we're mixing it up. So they're actually going in through here. There's our house. There's the bush. They're going in behind the bush. And it makes it more of a maze feel, and we'll have the light boxes and the pictures up in here. Mirror will go in here, and I gave it a way bigger display this year so we can kind of mix things up with it. Mirror will go on the center panel, and we might add a few things and stuff into it. And then of course into the spider and water room area. So we got basically 3 rooms, maze built and skinned. Now I'm going to switch gears. I should start working on the gypsy display and getting the walls up in there. I'm going to save that for tomorrow, I think. I'm going to switch over. I've got a hole here, another hole here, and another hole here. I've got some plywood I use in the past. I usually cover these up with plywood, to darken it up and stuff in here. So I think I'm going to get the plywood out. I'm going to get the plywood up in these areas. Also, the back of this wall all the way down, I need to get some sidewalls out and cover that so you don't see the back of the foam insulation and the wall frames. I do that for my neighbor to be nice. That way she has a nice white wall to look at instead of this mess for a month. So I think I'm going to work on that and get that area done. And then tomorrow we'll work on this area up in here. Get this all framed out and probably get the witch area framed out. My goal is I want to get that photo op put together. That's pretty much all brand new. We took the big cat out of it this year. You'll see that and what we're going to do with the big cat in a vlog down the road. Not going to give you too much info. Don't want to ruin the surprise. Hey people, just got done with dinner, and as you can see, you can see, it's getting dark. I've got my light there on the bucket I can use to plug in to do more work out here if I wanted to. I was going to put the plywood up over those areas I showed you in the last segment. That was prior to dinner. I was just going back to get the plywood when the wife called dinner. With it being so dark now, it's going to have to wait. That will be the first thing I do out here tomorrow morning when I get out here into the haunt. So that's going to be the first project, getting that plywood up, attached, and then sidewalls there. I got to take sidewalls and put down the whole back side of the haunt, and I explained the reason for that. Workout here today did pretty good. Not only did we get all the frames up, and I walked you through this last segment, but we got the photo hall pretty much done. All I got left is a couple of 1-foot panels, and it's not enough to do that area. So I think what we're going to do eventually is we'll get the wall panels up in here for the gypsy display, and we'll get those skinned, and if I have enough panels left over, we'll skin that area with the gypsy hall. If not, I'll end up using some scene setters in there, and we'll put, I'm thinking my Iron Maiden we can put in the corner. I mean, there's going to be a curtain hanging from this rod over to here anyway, so they won't see in there. But we'll put the Iron Maiden in there, and maybe one other prop here in the corner that they have to walk past. So we're mixing things up this season. For right now, I've got a choice to make. I really want to hold off on doing the gypsy display until tomorrow, because as part of the gypsy display, that stud wall right here that's coming out, this side is gypsy, this side is cornhole. I need to extend this wall out, and if I'm going to extend the wall out, I might as well do the cornhole way as well. So doing the gypsy involves doing the corn hallway. Hallway, not whole way. There's a difference. I get teased about that every year. But anyway, so I'm going to save that for tomorrow. I could also get in here and get my partition walls up along that side wall there, which would free up for doing the photo op on the other side. And I'm sitting here talking to the wife. I'm kind of at a quandary. I can keep working out here and keep going on this, or I could call it quits, clean up out here, and head into the shop and work on the mausoleum. It's about 7 o'clock. Feels weird calling it quits early, but there is still a lot of work to do on that mausoleum. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and follow take my wife's advice. I'm going to call it quits out here. We're going to head in to the shop, and we're going to work on some painting on the mausoleum. Oh, we're in the shop. We're cleaned up outside. God, I'll be glad when I get these mausoleum panels out of here. Pain in the butt trying to get in and out of that damn storage locker. But I got my brass paint out. I got a bowl out. Got my kit of paintbrushes. We're going to sit down. We're going to start going over all the wall panels that have the plaques on them. And we're going to start painting the plaques. I could spray it, but I think I'm going to use a brush instead. I just like the idea of using a brush. Plus, I can sit down and do it, which I like the idea of too. So we're going to get started on that, and we'll see how far we can get tonight. Yeah, sweating. It's still hot. It was 83 today. I worked up a sweat. Started out painting the plaques. Did that one there by hand. Took about a half hour to do it by hand. I was being careful, trying not to get paint into the letters and whatever. I got 11 of them to do, 30 minutes per plaque. I'm going to be out here till 2 in the morning. So I said, screw it. Got my roller out, and I decided to roll it. I got some paint here and there in the lettering, which is an easy touch-up by brush. So, no problem. So I went and got all the plaques done in an hour. Took me an hour to brush them all. Roll them all. So they're done. And as you can see, there's some whoop-de-doos around the side. I haven't rolled paint in ages. No problem. I'll touch that up when I get into the touch-up phase. Next step on these is actually on the stone here. If you can tell the rough texture there. I need to take my airbrush, and I'm going to be using a different color of gray, and I'm actually going to go over and spray all this with that color, which is going to cause a mess like it did here on the grout lines. And I think what I'm going to do, normally I would come back with a paintbrush and lightly go over this, to get the base color back out, and not get the paint into the damaged areas. I think what I'm going to do is after I spray the damaged areas, I'll let it dry, then I'll get my roller out and I'll lightly roll over the, with the base coat, and I'll clean it up. Thing is, even with the airbrush, it's going to take a while to spray these. But that's going to be tomorrow's job. I think I'm going to call it early, get in the house, get this vlog uploaded, edited and uploaded, and maybe get to bed by 1 tonight. I've been going to bed in between 12:30 and 2, and then getting up extremely early. I would like to get to bed halfway early. So I'm going to call it quits out here. I've got a couple of projects I can work on in the house. Nothing really to crow about. So let's get you guys something to watch. I'm calling day 3 in the can. Tomorrow, day 4, we're probably going to be doing a lot of jumping around in the haunt. I got the plywood to do and the sidewall over on my neighbor's side. We've got the corn hall to do. We've got the gypsy hall to do. And I've got the witch's room and photo gallery area to still do. What order I'm going to do all that in, I don't know. Right now, really no props going in. It's just maze. I'm trying to get all the maze done on the grass. I also got to go through and get bracing in too. So we got lots to do. We're not going to get it all done tomorrow, but we're going to try to take another big bite out of it tomorrow. So stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow, day 4. Stay spooky. Stay toxic.